Nigeria, a country of comedians, a nation of joke. We should be on Netflix actually. We should have a channel on Netflix, or maybe be a YouTube channel where jokes are permitted at all times. Because I do not understand. A Tale of Two Authors and Two Books in the Market, Nigeria and its Criminal Justice System by Dele Farotimi. And of course, they now released autobiography of Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, A Journey in Service. Unfortunately, one of those books exposed corruption in our justice system and our legal framework. The author of that book will end up in prison, charged with several charges, and he was heading straight to jail, if not for the intervention of well-meaning Nigerians. And reasonable Nigerians who knew that what Afe Bala was doing was going to be counterproductive on the long run. On the contrary, A Journey in Service, an autobiography of Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, that self-revisioned himself being a murderer, a criminal, an anti-democrat, an election annuller, somebody that committed crimes against humanity, genocide, and committed all forms of atrocities to a nation. We are getting donations from Nigerians to go and continue to live large and celebrate it. Thieves celebrating thieves, murderers celebrating murderers, criminals celebrating criminals, and we are taking side in all of this. We are analyzing. Whereas, in real sense, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida should be facing a panel, heading straight to jail, so that nobody goes ahead and commits such nonsense. And that's the kind of country we are in, and we want to have a way to get redemption and salvation. Dele Farotimi wrote to exposing corruption. He spoke highly. He exposed the corruption that has bedeviled our justice system, which of course is the bedrock of all the nonsense we have in this country. Corruption, election manipulation, rigging and irregularity, and all forms of abuse of power from both the political institutions, military, police, and all of the people around. Even our business sector, it is the corruption judiciary that has messed us up. The man was sent to jail. Some persons had food for thought to thinking that it was right that he was being sent to jail. The same country, few months later, would have a book released that self-revisioned himself to be a murderer and a criminal. Nigerians are celebrating him. People gathered in a banquet, donating billions of naira to him. The man that should have been ashamed to tell his own story, that should be on exile telling this story, that should be seeking for somebody else to tell the story, is now being regarded as a hero. His position or some thought are now being taken as school. The book will now begin to fly around the Nigerian campuses. It will become an extra added framework of literary review of what happened in the civil war. What happened? Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida is now a hero, political science student, law student, international studies and diplomacy student. And all of the attendant departments surrounding all of this will begin to read the criminal's book, because he wrote the book in the era of Nigerians that do not have sins. Dumb people. Fisayo Soyombi, I'm sure you know Fisayo. He had helped us to release, to prophesy of the 10 next books in the next 20 years that will be released. Yes, Fisayo. He's released, he's prophesied to our future. Watch out, listen. The 10 next books that will be released by notable Nigerians who will revision themselves and tell stories of how they gave quality service to Nigeria. Listen to him. In 2026, Restoring Nigeria After 1 million years of PDP misrule, to be written by Muhammadu Buhari. He will write it. He will. 2028, Contentment, Rejecting the Offer of a Third Term by Olusegun Obasanjo. He will write it. We are waiting. 2030, My Sacrifice, Defeating Security in Kaduna by Nasir El-Rufai. He will write it. 2032, Resilience. Yes. Resilience, How I Broke Down the Walls of Boko Haram by Goodluck Jonathan. He will write it. 2034, End SARS, Saving Lagos from the Children of Anger by Babajide Sanwo-Olu. He will write it. 2036, A Peaceful Man's Way of Breaking the Yoke of Political Godfatherism by Nyesom Wike. He will write it. 2038, 8 years of Fighting Corruption to a Standstill by Bola Tinubu. He will write them. 2040, How I Won Opposition End SARS Protesters Seeking to Remove Me from Office, Muhammadu Buhari. He will write it. In 2042, a Democrat's approach to defending democracy and press freedom. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he will write it again. Then in 2044, a presidential guide to winning elections by the ballot. Bola Ahmed Tinubu will write it. All of these criminals, all of these elements of faith. God, you pay me saying that this generation I follow come should have waited for the next, because this is the most insulting, abusing thing to my eyes. Koro. I was born when all of this nonsense happened. While I have read this, I have been told stories of it. I went to school, I studied it, several years studying all of these dimensions, and I said one of these days people are going to ask these guys questions. The man is writing a book telling that story, and people are clapping and donating billions. As I talk to you, there are Nigerians who thinks that his point of view should be something is noteworthy. It's not a literature piece. It's not a masterpiece. It's not a bestseller. Billions of naira donated from all and sundry, both in the public and private sectors. And then we are seeking for who is going to take us out of this quagmire. The same Dangote that have been crying for Bola Ahmed Tinubu is donating 8 billion. Say, if you like me, continue with donate. How much has Dangote donated for the emancipation of young people in this country? How much has all of these MDs, all of these Alakija, all of these guys? These are the problem of this country. Someone wrote somewhere, this was when we needed Boko Haram the most. But no, I ain't talking, not concern me. That's not my thought. Now they know. But the truth of the matter is that we don't even need Boko Haram. This was the time for Nigerians to have tallied down on all of these people that appeared there to say enemies one. Even if you take to writing out their name to say 2,442 enemies of Nigeria, that should not be solution. That should not say they ever have solution to problems. With this generation, I will follow come. I've never seen. No. I've been heartbroken. I've been looking. I say, really, Babangida. Babangida is telling story now to demonize Abacha. Abacha children on social media explaining, who the hell are all of you? Children of perdition. I will bail you out. Now they mad. Don't worry. All of you will remain alive. And the time will come when Nigerians, the real Nigerians, will wake up and say, we want to ask questions. See, 50 years ago is not too much to ask. But we ask the questions. 100 years ago is not too much to ask. But we ask the questions. When we ask that question, I've said it before here and I've seen it here. God protect all of us. God keep Muhammadu Buhari alive. You see, by the time I get to power in this country, anybody that bears that name Buhari, you see that name, you will change it, because you'll be a problem, you'll be a challenge. You have national issues. What your grandfather, your father did, all of these are Abacha children, Babangida children. You have questions to answer. You see, the same way your father gave problem to generations yet unborn. That's how all of you that were of that lineage, you have questions. You begin to suffer consequences of grandfather's reaction or for the things that you people have done to this country. Dele Fayotimi was going to go to jail for exposing corruption. Babangida is being celebrated as a hero. Because why? Because he is still alive. Because they are of two different divides. All of these guys, the same tribe, forget they are not in different party. They have one party. Even if they have different nomenclature or different names or different symbol. They are one tribe, forget the language they speak. They are one religion, forget where they bow their heads. All of these guys, the enemy now. And we will be the oppressors, are the one analyzing the oppressed tendency, the speech, the oratory prowess of Yemi Osinbajo, the ability. Oh man, people analyze and people even give you points to say you will not see that. You see, build men, Babangida. Build men with what? Build men with what? With which resources? With his money. Against what? To which detriment? Built men. Don't worry. Now we'll cry.